Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live.
He's busy.
Now, let's hear our host, Andy Albright.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Sound like a rhetorical question? I have, looking for my guests. I see them up there. Make them big on the big show, Billy. There you go. I have some questions that you guys should be asking. That's Sarah Seifert. Hey, Sarah. How are you?
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
Good to see you. There was questions that we had in the meeting yesterday. Can I get those back? Okay. Hey, Sarah, tell us a little bit about you. Have you won the Ireland trip yet?
Today.
So you have earned it, and you've got some days to spare. I wonder if I need to be using it. I'm not going to pop on the side of the head. I know I got that. I don't like it. Not pretty. But I'm wondering about this. Hey, how long have you been with us, Sarah?
Started May. About hours.
Started in May of this year. Why is it now? Do you got a full-time job in May of this year? Hey, tell me what's going on. No, your job. You had a you had a 2-day-a-week dental assistant job in May. Dental hygienist. I can use this like this. How can I talk this like this? Can I use this like this? I am yelling at him. Look like get it one in the shape of a bow tie or something.
Leave that sitting right there, and you can just talk into that. Treat that one like.
You lie.
Hey,
Sarah, you got babies, children?
I have a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old who I think they're not in school or daycare.
Okay. And you're married, you got a husband. I wouldn't say Rufus, but that's not the right name. What's his name? It ain't working. They said it ain't working. Let me have this. Sorry, Sarah. Can you hear me now, Sarah? Okay, good. I like that thing. Let's hold it like a little tiny mic.
yeah, but I can hear you. Don't hold on. Stick.
You know.
There you go.
Can you hear me now, Sarah? So here's what they say. I've read these books. Yeah, I can show you my wall. Well, you can see them. I read these books, and they talk about stuff, and they say things like, you shouldn't compare people, and people don't like to be compared. Well, here's what I say. You got the bottom of the barrel dum-dums, okay? And then you got the people that are above average. And then you got the people that are above the average people. My question is, which one did you think you was? Because let me just tell you something. The pathetic, the weak, the miserable, the poor, the brokenhearted, the ugly ones, they ain't going to make it. you should go on to heaven. You see what I'm saying? I mean, in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, curl up in your bed, stay warm. And if it sounds like I'm mad, it's because I am. What are you angry at, Andy? Failure. I hate failure, and I hate it when people fail when they don't need to fail. Are you, Sarah, are we connecting here? We cannot hear you, Sarah.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one in the room that speaks sign language. Okay? Somebody text Joseph too. Who's got two's phone number? Oh, I got two. Where's my phone? Somebody text him, say, are you listening to Albright? He's talking to your people right now. People are not selling except one guy. And I'm telling him why. You know what I'm talking about, Gooderman? Sarah? Do you have any people selling in your organization?
I do.
Are they below average, pathetic people, or are they pretty good people? That's your call. Are they or are they not? Which is it?
I think some are a little stressed.
Some of them need a hug.
It's their whole life.
Oh, you feel like they've been hugged all their life. I think I know what you're saying. Their parents treated them like babies, and then they became adults, and they're still babies.
Yep.
You said it so much nicer. So, guys, listen. We have found this business. We call it the Alliance. We have leads. Have y'all seen the new final expense leads? Emily, have you seen them? Yes? No? Well, they're new. Have you got one close by? Has either of y'all got one close by? Mike? Emily? Kimberly, can you get one? All right. A final expense. One of the recent ones. She calls them recent. I call them new. Yeah. Read what it says, Emily. I want to hear it. Read it loud so I can hear. I'm kind of turn my hearing aids up.
As a resident,
Okay. Do you recognize now that it's different and more plain and simple than the old one? It's bizarre. Somebody shot me a text and said, can you believe what they're putting on the leads now? I said, no, tell me. And they sent it to me and I read it. I was like, you would have to be a below average, inadequate, untrained, not motivated person if you can't sell those leads. Does everybody understand that? I mean, bizarre if you can't sell it. Does that, like, get you a job at Chick-fil-A where you don't have to work on Sundays. They'll teach you manners, and you get a big discount on what you eat, and that food is good. True that? A lot of cute young people work there, too. You can say hello to them. Now, if you aged out, Biscuitville.
That's right.
If you aged out of Chick-fil-A, Biscuitville. And if you ain't got a Biscuitville near you, move here, because we need some labor. We've been trying to ship them in some other countries, but we can take them from Michigan if you need to come on down. If you can't sell. You agree with that, Sarah? Sarah, seriously, do you agree with what I'm saying, or you think I'm I am crazy, but I'm saying, do you think I'm wrong about what I'm saying, or you think what I'm saying is absolutely spot on?
I think you're absolutely.
That's why I like you. One of the reasons. That and you're friends with Jake and Bray, which I think are cool. Okay, so let me tell you something. You can't put in them what God left out of them. You with me? If it ain't in there, you can't get it out. What goes down in the well comes up in the bucket. Do you see what I'm saying? So you got to move on. I watched this movie one time as this woman. She was very special. And she didn't like the way that cows was being treated. Y'all should watch it sometime. Google it. Tell me the name of that. A great movie. And whenever she got upset, she had this machine she would set in, and the machine would hug her. Well, her parents wasn't around. Make her feel better about life. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's a great movie. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? What's your name? Maritza? Lead salesperson? Looking sharp. They look like you can move some leads today. I'm trying to help you move some leads. You see how I'm you see the angle I'm working it? Mm-hmm. You know that you know that movie I'm talking about, right? Sometimes you wonder if, Yeah, hugged her, and then she got one of the cows, and then she made it where they didn't have a right turn. So the cows, instead of having a right turn, it goes in a circle. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes when I'm talking to these people, I'm wondering if I'm talking to a cow or the girl or somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So, Sarah Seifert, and what'd she say, Pablo? All right. Kind of my secret. I'm going to think about Rufus now. It's Pablo. How long y'all been married, Sarah?
8 years.
Have you tried to run any of these final? Are you doing the math in your head? Your lips are moving.
Yeah.
7 years. That's going on 8. When was y'all married? What month? Yeah, so it's not far into 8. What's he do? He got a job.
Yeah, he's a avocado. He's a attorney.
What's she call him?
Avocado is Spanish for attorney.
Avocado. What is
he always makes fun of me when I say that. He just gives me a look. But yeah,
he's an attorney. A judge look, or like an attorney look, like a prosecutor look. Where did he get his law degree from?
The University of New Mexico.
Think about getting my law degree.
Do it. It's lots of work.
Yeah, so I'm out. I'm doing insurance. The easiest thing I ever seen in my life. So, to be clear, it's easy if you're not bottom of the barrel. Below average, kind of think you're a bad person, no self-image. It's very difficult. Matter of fact, let's just put it as impossible. Okay, but if you're an above average person who wakes up, puts your clothes on. Did I tell you about when we was done selling makeup? We used to sell makeup when we was in Amway. Here's what we tell people. Most women wear it, and all of them ought to. You need to get you some of this artistry makeup from Amway. That was Dunn area. No offense to the Irwins and Dunns and Sampson County people, but that's what we said down there. So if you can get up and put your makeup on, get your clothes on, make phone calls, go to people's houses, you're part of the elite. Now you're capable. Does that make sense? So, Sarah, people need love and attention. Sometimes this is the shape of the love and the attention. You see what I'm saying? And now, if you're uncomfortable doing this, Russ, if you could get them on the call and watch me, then you can be like, I know he's crazy like that, but you got to admit he's got a point. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
You got to say like, I'll tell you, he's crazy, man. I'll tell you, but I'm tell you what, he's got a point. So what happens is you can be the hugging one, but you can say, hey, do y'all, if you don't watch TV enough, maybe you should watch some Law and Order and some Criminal Intent and all that stuff. You got to have a bad cop and a good cop. You with me? If you want to be the good cop all the time, you got to have a bad cop. So if you don't get the criminals around a bad cop, you see what I'm saying? So what you could do is get good at getting them on the calls, or get good at getting them to national convention. You get them to NatCon, national convention, and then we'll have some bad cops and good cops, and we'll try to get inside their head. You let me try to get them going. Now, if there ain't nothing in there, we can't get it out. Okay? So, Sarah, I think the way you put it, some are self-starters and some are not. I got some information, some questions that you guys should be asking, and young people should be asking. Old people should know this stuff, but Lord have mercy, some of them need to know too. I was just talking to my stupid rich friends today, and he told me something, and I was like, God, I'm an idiot. I should know that by now. And he gave me an excuse that I will, use. And it's basically, I was building my business, and therefore I'm an idiot about other stuff. And but these are some things you should understand. Young people should be asking about how to handle credit cards, debit cards, savings accounts, what to do with their money. True that. How should we prepare for taxes? And what should we do about our taxes? What should we do? How should we invest? How should I invest in myself as far as education, business-wise, house-wise, car-wise, stocks and bonds, stuff like that? How do I manage time? Like, how do I quit being a ding-dong head when it comes to my time and I get more stuff done during a day? And then if you were to start all over, Andy, what would you do different? What would you do if you were starting out? Things like that. I got into that yesterday with Nick and Hannah, and both of them said, after I answered those 5 questions, which did that take an hour? About an hour. They were both like, we've got 10 more questions now. We've got more questions than we had when we started. So if there are other questions, Nick, I want to try to get those answered. But I really want to talk about, I just want to get people to understand about leads and motivation and having money. Okay. So one of the things I love is this inflation thing. Okay. What's that guy's name? Bernie?
Sanders.
Biden. Biden. What's his first name?
Joe.
Joe has created this inflation thing, so it makes people that are making 35, 40,000 like you're really making 20. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying? Because everything's doubled in cost. So what happens is, for the rich people, they don't care. They could care less. But the poor people, they screwed, right? Because of this inflation thing. At least that's my view of it. Y'all might see it's better for poor people to have great inflation, or, and I don't mean poor people. I'm saying a guy making 50,000, 40,000, 60,000. You get that inflation thing, it hammers the snot out of you. So what my daddy used to say, when your belly bone hits your backbone, you get off your ass bone. You see what I'm saying? Now, in America, it's not true anymore, because you could always get real cheap food, like real cheap food. So you're not hungry, so to speak, but you don't get to enjoy the better things in life. You see what I'm saying? So I came across this system 22 years ago where we have leads. I thought I have found something that I could live like the rich people. Like, that's what I thought to myself when I saw those leads. And so what I did was I immediately pulled out my checkbook, which is a weird thing these days, but I pulled it out, had it with me, and I said, how much can I get? And they said, how much you got? I was like, I got like $10,000. I said, well, you don't need that much. You need about $500, $600. So I wrote them out a check, and I got these leads. I started printing money. And then I knew I had found a way that I could get rich. Then what I made a decision to do, Sarah, was to get other people to do it, because to me, I thought anybody could do this. Like, I was like, you have found the Shangri-La, the awesome end, the perfect answer that anybody could do it. And then I realized that some people can't do it because of whatever reason. They're in the bottom tier, the lower end. They're pitiful. Their mama coddled them. You know what I'm saying? Babied them. Mm-hmm. That's some old talk right there. Babied them. What is that? Spoiled them rotten. Spoiled them. Are you one of the lead people?
I sure am.
Y'all dressed up better than y'all did on that conference call the other day. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't give us a heads up.
I didn't give you no heads up. Y'all knew about today, huh?
Yeah, we need a little bit.
Are you Cat?
I'm Cat.
You're Cat. I was like 50-50 on that. Then you're like Ashley or something, Angel or Angelic or.
My middle name, Angelique.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
No, that's not what I'm shooting for. What's your name?
Caitlin.
Oh, because there's two
Caitlin.
cats.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like an Ashley or something like that. No? Nothing like that. Caitlin. All right, we'll go with that, Caitlin. All right, how am I doing on lead selling? You think it's a pretty good angle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you don't buy the leads that are miracles, like I can't believe how good these things are. I just can't believe, so we can send you to a sales training school. Probably won't work, but we could do that for you if you can't sell these leads. Now, if you won't try to sell them, that's your own fault. I can't do nothing about that. Okay. So I'm going to stop talking about these leads, but I just want y'all to understand these new final expense leads have in there that it's state regulated life insurance and people are filling it out. Can anybody else print one out besides y'all? Can you text somebody and get somebody to print one out and bring one in here? Who could do that?
I have one up at my desk.
Is there anybody up there that can bring it down, or you got to go get it? You go get it.
Okay.
I trust you. Okay. I know I shouldn't trust you, but I do.
Yeah, that's what you might be worried.
I'm a trusting person. So, you see what I'm doing, Nick?
Yes, I do.
I want to call you Nathan, but I know it ain't. It's Norton. Don't start nothing. And Mike Marisi, have you seen these new final expense leads yet?
No, I haven't.
Did you hear the wording on it?
I heard the wording on it. Yeah.
I don't know if we do them in Chicago yet. Is that where you live?
Yeah, I'm up in Chicago.
I'm coming to see you. I'm going to see you in Kansas, right?
Yeah, I'm going to see you in Missouri, and then I'm going to be in Indy and then back to Chicago. So I'll be with you in 3 spots.
Are you going to ride on a jet with us?
Yeah.
Good. I would like for you to get some of these final expense leads before then, but I don't know how we can do that. If there's any in Chicago, if you get some of them and call them and see what it's like. Jeremico Edwards, and there's this new guy down under Rogers. I forget the guy's name. I want to say his name's Lewis, but he's brand new like Sarah, and he's just crushing it. Already won a trip or right at it like Sarah. Brand new this year. We have people been with us 4 years that have never won a trip. And then some dental hygienist, mama of 3 with a husband named Pablo, who's a respirado. What do you call it? Abogado. Comes in and since May and earns a trip, and other people don't do it.
What are they doing?
What are they doing? They're not driven.
Nothing.
Exactly.
They're not driven.
Well, they're not driven to want.
Come here. Tell me what you're saying. What do you think? Come here.
There you go, Chris.
What do you think?
I'm just saying, in order to want success, you have to be driven.
Right there.
Oh.
Matter of fact, come over here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, right there.
You have to be driven in order to want success. And if you're not driven to go forward.
Go forward.
And in order to go
Are
forward, you have to push yourself.
Being backwards.
Some of them might be.
Bass backwards.
They might be bass backwards. They're sitting there, and instead of going forward, they're sitting and waiting for somebody to do it for them instead of doing it for themselves.
Maybe we call Biden.
No, I don't know if we should call him because he ain't doing too good of a job.
Call his sidekick. Get her to send them money down there.
But yeah, you have to
Where's
be
Obama
driven.
when you need him?
Well, he's looking a little aged. He's looking a little aged out now. Poor guy. He went through a lot.
Holy cow. You print it out in young people print. But I have had surgery, so I'm going to tell you how it goes. As a resident of North Carolina, you're entitled to more benefits not provided by the government. You now have access to the new 2023 state-regulated life insurance program. Oh, they threw in a twist. They put 2023 in there when it's really 2022. I bet that gets them stirred up right there. State regulates, like they have access to it before the year comes in, which is true, which will pay for 100% of your final expense up to $35,000. Return this postage paid card within 5 days to request the new benefit information. This person signed it, put their age, and penciled in their address and their phone number on the lead. $1 billion says I can sell this. You with me? But I'm driven.
Yeah.
I call the people.
It's self-explanatory.
See if you can read that. You're a young dude. Can you read it?
Yeah, I can read it.
All right. So I'm going to see if Russ can read it. I bet your cuz can't read it. Can you really? You got contacts here.
Money on it, I can.
Just the number.
I will say, just from looking at that, because I used to be a
Come here. They can't hear you talking. You can keep talking. You just got to talk to them.
Okay.
You used to be a TFR.
I used to be one of your TSRs.
Like
I used to be one of your TSRs like 10 years ago.
what's a TSR mean?
In the telemarketing department.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What do you do now?
Well, now I am about to be one of your new agents.
You don't work for us no more?
No.
She's my best friend.
Yeah. You know Dawn Lee. She worked in the customer care unit.
That's Dawn Lee's daughter.
Yep.
That's Dawn.
I'm Kristen Lee. I've met you a couple times.
Good to see you.
But now I was going to say, from just like skimming over your shoulder, those leads already look a lot more neater than what would come through whenever we would have to do the rebound calls.
Yeah.
And follow.
Rebound.
Yeah.
Rework.
They actually look a lot more simpler and not as messy. It's a lot more put
Do you
together.
think you could sell this?
I think I could.
So, I feel like there's three of you looking at me. Is that an eye?
And then there's two more right there.
Huh?
It's all good.
What?
She's good. Don't tell the undress.
We will know she was good when we give her some of these leads and we see if she calls them and goes sales. Then we will know if she's good or not. Don't prejudge.
Well, my goal is for you to be proud of me, so I'm going to try to make you proud.
I've seriously found the people that have that attitude. There's two attitudes that I have seen successful.
Mm-hmm.
And Seaford, you might not be one of these two, but these are two that would give me another. People that don't want to disappoint me. Right? They don't want to disappoint me. Or they don't want to disappoint like Jake and Beret. Okay? The other thing I have found is when people don't want to be poor. Like they hate being poor. They hate poor food. They hate fast food like McDonald's, stuff like that. I'm going to tell you what. I've not been disappointed in my secretary much. It's unbelievable. But we're flying on a private jet, and a couple times she had cold food.
Oh, no.
When we stopped, and they brought in cold food. And I told I said, I'm calling her right now. This is a no-go. We're going to have warm food brought on the jet. You with me? I don't like that fast food stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about where on Burger King needs. I've seen studies of what that stuff does.
Burger King's terrible.
Burger King's terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong. It tastes good. But it ain't like real food. You know what I'm saying? It's just salt and something. I don't know what up in there. I mean, it's good. You know what I'm saying? It tastes good. I just seen this is not good. Right? It ain't good for you.
That's right.
Yeah. It kill you. But you see what I'm saying? So I hated to port them. I'm going to tell you something. A nasty car that's too small and don't crank up every time, making noises, stuff don't work on it. I hate that. Hate it. Oh, I'll tell you something I hate worse. When my wife called me and tell me something ain't working. I lose my mind over that. You understand what I'm saying, Nick?
Yes, I do.
I met your wife the other day.
Yep.
I bet she'll call you something don't work.
Yep.
I hate and then trying for somebody's approval. Like I got this one lady. She'd been gone a long time, kind of like you. She came back and she's just working her butt off, just printing money, making more money she's ever made in her life. This is going to be the biggest income year coming up she's ever had in her life. And that's what she said. She said, I want you to be proud of me. And I'm like, well, my God, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to be like so proud of you and be telling everybody about you. But you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Sarah, do you either one of those categories or you just want to be rich or or one of those categories?
I just want more time with my family, and I know that this will provide that. I want to work more efficiently while I'm out there and then spend more time with my family. So basically, yeah, just be efficient when I'm out there, make some money, and then be home. Not work a job where I have to be there X amount of hours and can only make X amount of dollars.
Did you hate that?
I wouldn't use hate. I don't hate it, but I just feel like the rat race of it, yes. Like just the clock in, clock out, capped at a certain amount, working, grinding for the upper person at the end of the day. Like if I'm going to work like that, it's going to be for my damn self.
You didn't like that?
Yeah.
Didn't you call trying to recruit Veray back into nursing assistant or dental assistant or hygienist or something like that?
Yeah, I did.
You did the old 360, 180 routine on you, didn't you?
Yeah, she did.
You tried to recruit her and she recruited you.
That's correct.
Hygienist world lost a hygienist and a recruiter also. Hey, listen, if you get these leads and you don't make any sales and don't make the money, I ain't saying we're going to make fun of you, but we are going to talk about the lower echelon. And how some people coddle this kid. So you coddle?
No, I've been working since I was 14 years old.
Don't let him coddle you.
Oh no, she's mean.
I want to be.
To be honest, she's mean.
You know, there's something to be said for that in parenting.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to tell you, Sarah, I hear you on spending more time with them, but just be careful that you don't coddle them. You see what I'm saying? Now, I ain't your granddaddy or daddy, but I'm telling you, I don't want to hear it later on, 20 years now, wish you hadn't called them, and I'll be like, I told you. Remember, I told you.
Yep. I remember clearly listening to your call about coddling kids and then just wondering why they don't leave the home and trying to push them out. And yeah, it all starts at a very young age. My mom had her own Montessori school, so we're super into independent learning. So I agree.
What's your name again?
Kristen.
You have to, in the house, you show them tattoos. I get them moving.
What you mean?
That's what I mean. You know, check this out. If they say I don't want the insurance, say, look at this. You better think about that thing again.
What are you trying to say? I look like I've been in prison.
I'm trying to say what I said. Trying to say nothing what I didn't say. I'm trying to say what I did say. I'd cut off. You know what y'all do going there? Cut off, toe off sleeves and stuff like that. We're gonna. Megan Wood got involved in this. She said, "What do you think I'll change?" I said, "Nothing." You with me? She got earrings, all kinds of stuff. You know, tattoo, all kinds of crazy stuff. I said, "Don't change nothing." And she ain't changed nothing. Just selling like crazy. But you got to close the deals. Okay, Sarah. Welcome to the team. I appreciate you listening to that other call that I did. I appreciate you being on these calls. I think having to sell people be on a call is a problem, but I do think you should do it. Like try to get people to get on the calls because then they don't say things like, I'm sure you understand that I'm trying, right? Because nobody wants to hear that. You're not trying. We're not confused. We don't listen to that. But if they're doing it, like let's say you hang up say during this call, somebody texts you, hey, I got a couple questions. Well, the first thing you should say is, are you watching the call? And try not to put an adjective after it or before it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by adjective? Like something to describe something. Like, you can't, you just like, hey, you should be on the call. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to say without saying it because I want to be semi-political. Caitlin, you tracking what I'm saying? Like, let me just tell you. You don't want to say something like, are you on this call, idiot? That is not what you're supposed to do. But you want to do it. Right, but don't. But if you can get them on the call or get them to watch it, then they know more how you really feel. But you can't really say it. Now, I have one guy that he says it to people, and his people don't like him. Okay? So it's that what do you call it? It's that right to that point, right? You want them to know it, but you don't want to say it to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, I know what it's like. Come here. It's like this. Come back over here. What's your name again?
Kristen.
Kristen, hold it right there. Come here like this. It's kind of like this. You want to pull them and push at the same time. You don't want to pull them all up on you, and you don't want to push them off. You know what I'm saying? It's like a little bit like the hard to get thing. You know what I mean? Like you nice, but easy. You follow what I'm saying? It's a little bit like that. So if you get them on the call and tell them you love them, they get up in here and they find out how we really feel. Does that make sense, Sarah? If you can't get people on a call, either you are a misfit, broken person, or you're dealing with a misfit, broken. Does that make sense? One of the two. It's either you or them. I've always decided I was not the dum-dum, so I would just go and try to find somebody else. Does that make sense? So this is more of a finding game than a making game. Okay, Mike Marisi, you've been with us a couple years.
Yep.
You've already won the Ireland trip.
Absolutely.
Do you have people on your team that have been with you for a while and they failed to win the Ireland trip or any other trip?
I've got some guys. Yeah.
I'm glad that you have people, but do you have any that has earned the trip this year?
No, not this year.
Okay.
No.
So this time when you, like, if I had to start over, like we had Haley and Spencer, we did a pretty decent job. Jane did a great job. But if I had to do over, if I started over again, I would have done some things different. So it's the same thing with a new agent. You got to do some things different with the new ones coming in.
For sure.
And I have found that a talk along these lines is very effective. Is it Crystal? Kristen. Okay, so Kristen has had a talking to. I predict she will be better than any of your people that you've already hired because she experienced this talking to. Now, you could say your talking to has had no effect on her. It's not going to matter. And I go, okay, we shall see. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then a lot of people go like, well, I said, I don't know what to tell you. You understand my organization is what it is. I mean, I got a big leg of organization here. I got another organization. I'm getting other organizations started. I just got one started in the last 90 days. And March will be doing 50,000 a month. Easy. That's because I'm giving them talking to before I find out they've been coddled. Does that make sense? So then what they'll do is they'll fight to appear not coddled, or they'll fight to appear to be driven, or they'll fight to they don't want to disappoint me. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, it does.
You think you can do this, or are you just going to resort to getting them on the call and get me to do it to them?
No, I can do this. Definitely.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Have you tried it a little bit? Have you teetered with this?
I have. I have, and I know a great book that I've been getting through that you recommended to me a while back, Crucial Conversations. And I know it's kind of having like that real talk with agents.
Yeah.
And
that's not the name of it. Try the name of it again. It's,
Fierce Conversations.
That's the name of it. Fierce Conversations.
Yeah. There's a couple books, but Fierce Conversations, yeah. Both of those books are really, really good. But yeah, it talks a lot about that,
because people do like
conversations.
That'll be good. That's the kind of crap they do. And it just makes me so mad. I'm like, why don't you feed her some cotton candy and some sugar? Snorting's a good sign too. Y'all didn't hear her snort. She snorted. Let me tell you something. You make a person snort the first time you talk to them, and they got some tattoos, I guarantee you, snorting and tattoo combination mess them up. Okay, let's do this. Hey, Emily, say hello to everybody. Tell them who you are and how you connected to us and how's life treating you. And have you went all expense paid to Ireland and blah, blah, blah.
Thanks for having me on the call. I am Emily Katz, direct to Adam and Beth Katz. I have been with the Alliance as an agent for 3 years, but I've known Andy my entire life. So grew up in the Alliance with my parents doing it in the business, and went to NC State, got a business major in marketing, and then came on full time about last year. So so far I'm at 87 grand for the year, qualified for Ireland, and probably make close to 100,000.
Let's go. What was the 85 grand? What was that comment?
Oh, so far year to date, I'm at 87 grand deposits.
87 deposited in money into your account.
Yes.
In order to stay compliant, we must let people know that this young lady is a superstar. She's unbelievable to be able to produce these kind of results. Not an ordinary person will fail at this. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm totally serious. We need people to know that she's superior than thou. And if thou decides that thou art superior than her, then show us. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So I found something else. I found something, Sarah, about young people that are responsible. They don't use credit cards. They use debit cards because they don't want to spend more money than they make, which I think is genius. Okay. But what I want to do is take them a step farther and say, did you know that you could watch how much you put on a credit card? You could take the credit card balance and subtract that from the money you got and see if you've still got money or not. And now a debit card subtracts it out of your account for you, and now you can watch it. But if you can do math, you can tell whether you've put too much on a credit card to pay it off. So then what you do is you pay it off before there's an interest charge. So you have zero interest loan, and you get points. Like, I don't like to fly commercial anymore. It's very tedious to me. And those people with the guns, and I don't think they're the highest educated people in the world. I'm not saying they're the people that would fail at this, but I think that's true. Okay? So I don't like, if I was going to fly, I would fly a plane that has peanuts. I like Southwest Air peanuts, and I like the girls that serve them because they're really nice. You understand what I'm saying? If you put your bills on a credit card and pay it off, your credit score will go up, and you'll have more credit to buy a house or a car one day or something like that. Or you could get more credit on your credit card. You could buy more leads, and then you could pay them off. And then you get free points. I have over 1 million points on this credit card. I can fly for, I don't know what it costs to fly like from here to Dallas on Southwest Airlines. Who has Southwest can look it up and see how many points it, no. But I think I could fly like 1,000 times or something. Maybe it's 200 times for free because I charge stuff on my credit card, but I pay it off beforehand. Does that make sense? Does that seem genius to you? Yes. That seems beyond. So like some of my smarter staff, if we go to a dinner, they'll be like, I want to pay for it. And I'll be like, what? They go, yeah, I'm going to get the points, and then I'm going to turn in the bill and get paid all the money back, but I get all the points.
Yes, make money while you spend money.
Right. Yes. Right. Now, the the luxury card one, I like this too because it makes that noise like that. I always drop on the counter. And I like that. I just like them. But this one, you get points, and you can get sunglasses, pocketbooks. I was messing around the other day, and I was just like, I don't know, like 500,000 points. And I was looking at pocketbooks like 14,000, 16,000 points, 27,000 points. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, Well, I had to be tricky with my wife because she's a very, very conservative person. So I got my daughter. I was like, hey, look at all these points. Pick you out a pocketbook. She's like, I want that one. So then I said, Jane, guess what? All the girls get to pick out a pocketbook. So all of them go in there and pick out these designer pocketbooks for free, just because charge stuff and then turn it on the bill. Huh?
You want points
Yeah. How many points would it cost me?
to go down?
Yeah.
Depending on what time in the morning, anywhere from 20 to 45,000.
So 20 to 45,000. Let's just do 30,000. Let's do 1 million divided by 30,000. What's that? 1 million divided by 30,000. So I could go to Dallas. Is that there and back? Round trip. See what it is for round trip. So I could go there 33 times for free. But this is not the, if I kept using only this card, those numbers keep skyrocketing. Does that make sense? So it's just easy money that you can make. It's that simple. Now, I would not carry debt on a credit card. I've never done that. I've been poor also. Well, not poor, but you know, I have been poor since I know you could sell goats, pine needles. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never been broke. You know, I ain't many times I ain't had money. Did I buy my first car from you, Russ?
If you did
$600. Remember?
$6 or $7.
$600 or $700. I paid the man cash on the barrel head. Remember that? It was a white Cougar.
Mercury Cougar, 1967.
Yeah, it was. Cash money, baby.
That wasn't a year. That was
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because, and then when I was I found this magazine called Money Magazine. I'm not sure if it's available currently. See if Money Magazine is available. I don't read it anymore, but I used to read every page of it. Now I read every page of the Robb Report, which 64,000 points for round trip. So 15 round trips. 15 round trips to Dallas for free. Does that make sense? So now your credit card is paying for you to build your business and hire people around the country. Okay. Is there any question? Is there any questions about that? Does that sound complicated and confusing? Is anybody going to change the way you do stuff at all in this room? Anything differently? Or y'all already do that? You already do that? You already do that? Do that? Do that?
Actually, I'm gonna start paying the bill.
You're going to start paying the bill at dinner and then turn it in.
That's what I think I'll do that. Yeah, I think I'll
You
that.
do try to pay for my room. Because let me tell you, I will let you do it this time. Huh?
You did the last one.
I did let you do it. And you got all those points. I'm talking about myself. You know, somebody said, what if you train your staff and then they go somewhere else? I'd be like, well, then you got trained people that left. Does that make sense? How about the other option? How about if you keep your staff and keep them dumber and dirt and then they stay? Now you got staff that's dumber and dirt that stayed with you. Does that make any sense? Don't make no sense. You got to take a chance. If you don't live on the edge, you're taking up too much room.
I like that.
I like that. That'll get me in trouble right there. Don't like that. That's what I'm doing right there. So I feel like, that's on the edge right there. Damn evil genius. What are you talking about, Stephanie? I'm tricking them into working. All right. So, can y'all hear Sarah pretty good now? Mm-hmm. You hear pretty good? Mike? Sarah? Okay. So the answer is no change? You already did all this? Did you do this with credit cards?
I actually don't have a credit card yet.
Okay. Do you see the advantage of having one now?
Yes.
Do you see how you could make money by just using a credit card and just paying it off? Do you think you're smart enough that you could not run up a credit card too much?
For sure. I'd be too worried to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is some people are careless and stupid.
Yes.
Is it okay to say people stupid?
Yes. It's
Life is difficult. And if you are stupid, it is way harder. So you just found I think I got a word for you, a hack. We just said, money hack, baby. Okay, but you tracking with me? So you buy leads. So you buy $1,000 worth of leads.
Yeah.
You call up, be friends with one of these people that been in the lead department, Caitlin, and say, look, hey, I heard y'all's cutting deals. If I bought $1,000 worth, how many you give me? She's like, you get $1,000, we're gonna give you $1,000 because you're being crazy. So now you got $2,000 worth of leads. You go out and run the leads, the appointments, and you make, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 from that 1,000. But you also did $1,000 on your credit card, 1,000 points. It's usually a dollar for dollar point. Some of them are different. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Life's just so easy if you know the secrets and then you execute the secrets.
Which also comes to parents and coddling.
It does have a lot to do with parents coddling.
And not showing their kids how to progress in life and do credit and stuff.
Oh my God. The new people that we've been hiring are watching the show. Let's go.
People on my team actually looked at my phone, Gavin T. He put in, he was like, "Ooh, Kristen's there."
Okay. All right. Now, taxes. If you have a job, they take the taxes out without you negotiating. I hate that. Okay? But I don't know what to tell you. That's the rules, the way the thing works. So what I would do is get a side gig, a side hustle, somewhere you can make money and not have to pay taxes. The way you do that is you have expenses. Now, I'm not a tax professional, but I know tax professionals. And what they do is you write off stuff, meaning you have expenses. Like for, say, eating would be an expense. I think that if you bought some shirts that have the Alliance on it, then that's a tax write-off because you bought your uniform, right? Now, you got to check. Some of these tax professionals will be like, you can't write off clothing. So you have to say to them, what about a uniform? Can I write off a uniform? And they go, well, yeah, if it's a uniform, you can. So what I'm telling you is you have to think for yourself a little bit because these tax professionals oftentimes are very low paid people. Does that make sense? I'm not inferring that all low paid people are not smart, but I'm saying it is a hint. Does that make sense? It's a hint. It's because there are some poor people that are crazy smart, like that Mother Teresa girl. She has no money because she don't get paid, but she's very smart because she's traveled the world. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So you have to be careful how you pay taxes. So if you write off stuff, and then if you go to eat breakfast and then you ain't writing business, you can't say it's a write-off because you weren't eating on the job. Does that make sense? But if you go eat breakfast and talk to somebody there at Biscuitville about insurance, now you can turn in that receipt as you was working a job. You see what I'm saying? But if you got a job and you turn in that receipt and you go, hey, I was working on a job, they go, yeah, we already took your taxes out. You can't fix it. You see what I'm saying? So the other thing you want to do is, I was talking to a couple of my friends yesterday at the basketball game about, I would put more money into staff and help and building my business instead of paying taxes. Like I have this one guy, he'll make $300,000 this year, and he's going to pay $100,000 in taxes because he's not spending any money flying around trying to build his team. Does that make sense? It don't make sense to me. Like, why would you, if you make $300,000, why would you not spend it trying to expand your business? Now, I'm not trying to give it away. People say, you need a tax deduction. Give me some money. I go, that is not the same kind of tax deduction. I would spend a tax deduction like this lady who don't want me to be unimpressed. She wants me to be proud of her, right? And so she don't want to let me down because she knows I think a lot of her, right? So I paid her expenses to fly to help another person in her business. But you understand, she's like, and to me, like from a business perspective, I'm making enough money. It's like I have a rental property, right? That's making a lot of money who don't want to let me down. So now if she flies to another location and trains them, she's becoming an apartment complex because she's going to double the size. That makes sense? Now, she's willing to spend money and help grow her business, but I'm going to assist and give them more leads so I can get it 3 people selling or 8 people selling. Because if you get like 8 people selling 10 grand, like I'm killer with this math, simple math. Like I do think that's a big problem is people can't do the credit card math thing. You know what I mean? Like they can't keep up track with their expenses. I might run up the credit card debt and I'm gonna. You should get you a calculator on your phone. That way you could do the math to keep up with your expenses so that you don't overspend. Okay. So if you have 8 people selling 10 grand, that's 80,000 a month. A 10% spread would be 8 grand a month. What kind of an apartment complex clears you 8 grand a month? But people are so cheap. You listen to me, Sarah. Is this making any sense? I hope, what's that? Respirado?
Avocado.
Is Respirado a liquor? Is that, you don't know.
No.
You don't know. Hey, don't get cocky because I already told you what you did do that you know, I know you don't do that, but
Yeah.
tequila,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That you probably not say it like that. How you say it? Really? Oh, yeah. Come here. You pass that back here. Get it.
Reposado.
Reposado. What's the attorney do? Abogado. You need to get this abogado to understand this because I'm telling you, he sounds like a fiscally responsible human being, which means he might not understand frivolous investing to expand the business. Right? It's not frivolous. To me, it's genius. But to other people who are fiscally conservative and responsible because their mothers did not coddle them and they made them learn how to pay their bills, they don't want to get hoodooed into wasting their money to build a business. So nobody hoodooed me into it. I just did the math with my calculator. Actually, I went on to the computer and did me one of them Excel spreadsheets. And I took the Excel spreadsheet to the guy that showed me this. And I said, if I do this, will I make that much money? He said, yeah, but it's harder than you think. And I just laughed at him. I said, that is one of the dumbest things I've heard a fat boy say. And he didn't, I don't know. He didn't always take my comments comical as I thought they were. And apparently you do also, Caitlin. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Crystalline or Kristen, what is it?
Kristen.
When you start writing business, I'm going to get your name right.
It's okay.
Until then, I just got the part right.
That's good. That's good enough.
Okay. Does this help with taxes?
Yes.
Little. Did I generate more questions? Norton?
Yep.
Tell me.
How much business, if I have a small business, how much do I need to be able to write in my small business in order to start writing off stuff in taxes?
I think dollar for dollar. If you get paid $1,000, you can write off $1,000. Now you try to check with a tax professional, but I seriously don't think you'd have to pay a dime on that $1,000 that you made if you write off $1,000 worth of stuff. Does that make sense? Now, some things are not as much as you would think. Like, for example, food, you only get maybe 25% or 40% discount. In other words, you spend $1,000 on food, you might only save $250 on taxes. Tracking with me?
Yeah.
You said, but I spent $1,000. I go, I don't write the rules, bro. I just operate inside of them. Does that make sense? So you might need to write off $3,000 worth of food to save $1,000 and not pay any taxes. Now, hiring a person is awesome, because if you had a secretary or an assistant or paid somebody, you're giving them that money. I think that's like 100% of a write-off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if you only made 1,000, hire a person, but I would come up with a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? But the more money you're making, the more fun stuff you can write off. For real.
Right.
Does that kind of help?
Yeah.
And so you just have to ask, like if my CFO, I ask him, like, what's the write-off for food? What's the write-off for a person? See if somebody texts Keith and see if he'll come over here a second and answer a couple questions like that. He's a CPA, right? Certified Public Accountant, smart as hell. Any more questions along those lines?
Yeah.
All right.
So can I write off stuff that doesn't necessarily pertain to that small business? So like most people, you have a 9 to 5. Can I write off stuff in that 9 to 5 as a small business business expense?
I don't understand. Give me an example of, okay, so you're getting paid a salary. Yay.
Right.
You have a side hustle.
Right.
You got a side hustle. Okay. And if you do what and what? Give me an example.
Like car maintenance, because I, drive from home to here every day and then drive from here to wherever for my side business. Can I write off car maintenance such as tires or new brakes? Can I write that off as a business expense, even though I did use it in part of the coming and going for my 9 to 5?
Okay, so this is another tax professional question, but it's along the lines of either you write off the gas mileage and you get paid back, or you write off what it costs to fix and to pay for the gas. You can't do both, right? You can't get credit 45 cents. I think it's something like, 45 cents a mile?
I'm not sure.
More, 60-some cents a mile?
No,
60 cents a mile you get credit for. So you can turn that in, but you can't turn in maintenance on the car. That's 60 cents. So if your car never has maintenance issues, the 60 cents becomes a good deal. But if you have a pitiful car, so you have to balance that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
our tax professional's doing his CPE training.
he's doing his CPE training, so he won't be dumb. He's staying updated on CPE. Okay. Now, you have to be smart or tricky or do it right. You with me? So, for example, I would almost always have an appointment or somebody that I am going to see on the way home from here if I had a job. That way, your miles coming from work to home gets counted on your side gig. But if all you're doing is driving home from work, they're not going, the tax people in the IRS and the 87,000 people supposedly they've hired to audit you, they would not like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know how they would know, but let's just assume they know. And now you stop and talk to somebody and write down their name and where you talk to them about the insurance. Now you've got a record and you can defend yourself. Does that make sense? Now, a lot of people say, I'm not going to do all this little stuff to get ahead. And I understand. We appreciate people like you because you're the people that will do all the menial work. Does that make sense? Like I'm telling you, if you want to have stuff when you get older, you've got to figure out every angle. Like I've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just study this stuff. Now, once I know it, I know what to do. Like I don't even, now I've got my secretary and my assistants keep track of all this. And occasionally I'll go, y'all are turning every penny of this in, right? And they go, yeah, I go, okay, good. You see what I'm saying? Like when I was young, I did every nickel. Emily, do you think you do pretty good at trying to save every dime you can as far as like not pay taxes and take write-offs? Or do you think you need a better job of keeping up with that?
I have an accountant, so they do a lot of that. I know I need more tax write-offs though, so I'm going to hire somebody.
But you have to That's brilliant. But you have to give it to the accountant, right?
Yes.
Is your accountant in Florida?
No, they're in North Carolina.
Are you going to file taxes in Florida or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Hey, Keith, come here. I thought you were doing CPE.
I am.
Well, you didn't have to come in for that. So, like, this is Keith Hall. He's my CFO.
Hello?
Come here, Keith, so you can see that bald head.
Okay. I got to duck down.
Stay right here. Sir, right here.
I'll be okay.
Aren't you injured?
Got the bad foot
We
going
were just talking about taxes, and it makes no sense for me to make $300,000 on a side gig or a full-time gig, a job, and then pay $100,000 in taxes. You should build your business and expand it. So he's getting into young people and Emily how to do her taxes. By the way, I think you need to file your taxes in Florida, and that way you pay no state tax. That's
sure.
like one trick.
No brainer.
It's a no-brainer, and you're there enough to do it. You know, like seriously, it's 7% of. Is that what it? How much?
It's about 5% in North Carolina now.
5% in North Carolina, 0% in. So if you make $87,000 and you file in North Carolina, that's $4,000 more in taxes you're gonna have to pay. But if you do it in Florida, you don't have to pay that $4,000. And hell, you only made 87. So that's like 5% of your income. Oh, it is 5% because we multiply times 5%. Does that make sense? Like, why would you do that? There's so many little things. So what happens is the bigger you get, these little things become massive things. Oh, he was saying like, if he made $1,000 on the side, how much could he start writing off immediately? And my answer is, I think 100% he can start doing it now. Sure.
Yeah.
But like, if he spent $1,000 worth of food, that wouldn't take his tax bill down to a zero. Because you only get like what, 25%?
Yeah. Well, they changed the rules. It seems like every year with
I hate
different
those
Congress.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not fun. That's what I'm learning today.
So how's it work now for food?
Right now for food is 100%, but that's gone away. I mean, in what, 12 days, whatever. How many more days we got?
Wait, what?
So
It's going to change next year. What's it going to be?
It's going to drop back to 50% and then it'll go away.
No write-offs for food?
Yeah, they're talking about no write-offs for food potentially.
Okay, can we vote these people out?
We had our chance. We lost it.
We had our chance.
In November.
There you go. You're going to pay. You're going to pay. Could we get them to tell us which ones are favor of taxes the next go round, and we can vote for the ones that don't like taxes? You know what I'm saying is like, here's what people say, like, they're going to tax the rich and then they take away your tax benefits. Does that make sense? Like, you're not the rich. I'm not the rich. I'm trying to get that way. But if you take away my food write-off, you know what this means, right?
No more swiping the card.
Are you serious? They're talking about getting away with it?
They're talking about doing away with it altogether.
That is, somebody should go to jail for that. Who would not have food as a write-off in your business? Think about, you know how we free chips and drinks and everything, and we're supporting. What is wrong with these people? Keith, what is wrong with these people?
I do not know.
He is a tax professional. Okay. So this coming year, you get a 50% write-off on food. How about wine? Does that count as food?
That would count as food, yes.
You know what we should do? We should order a bunch of the wine stuff this year.
Get it in.
Missy! I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
A bunch. Cases.
Okay.
At least through next year.
17 cases of Camus.
17 cases of Camus. Okay, does this help, Nick?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. How about mileage? Like, if you do, how much do you get per mileage when you turn in your mileage?
Oh gosh, they just changed that recently because of all the costs being higher and
Because of inflation.
Yeah, because of
covered
inflation
earlier.
And it's I can't quote that one.
Is it 60 cents?
It's around 60 cents a mile.
Yeah. But if you turn in the mileage, now you can't turn in maintenance.
Correct.
Like changing oil and stuff like that.
Correct.
But if you don't do the mileage, you can do a lot of the maintenance stuff.
That's correct.
So if you piece of junk car, a lot of problems with it, I'd write this
Do
off.
mileage.
Not
Do mileage typically works because you're basically like your car, it's a really expensive car. I can write off depreciation. And then I can write off all the other expenses, gas, insurance, everything else. If it's a piece of junk car, it probably costs, a couple grand. Depreciation is pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
And so you come out better typically.
So if you got a piece of junk car, mileage, if it breaks a lot, stuff like that. But if you got a real expensive, like $150,000 car, then you want to do the maintenance and depreciation.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Actual expenses.
Yeah, you do actual expenses.
Does that help? Y'all, Emily or Mike, got any more tax questions like that? But Patrick does.
You talked about a couple times your first year in the business, you made roughly 80,000, but you spent 87,000. How does that work?
So let's be. Thank you, Keith. Go do your CPE. Let you be licensed. I made 200,000 the first year doing this, not 80-some thousand. I spent 280,000. Okay. I had a stack of credit cards that had over 100,000, might have been over 150,000 available because I did what I'm telling you to do. I'd always practice that, and I had my credit. And by the way, once you have $1,000 credit on your credit card and you pay it off a few times, you call them up and say, hey, listen, I need $3,000 credit, and they'll increase your credit line. And then you call them again, they'll increase it to 5. So I kept doing it on a bunch of credit cards. So when I started when I started building this business, I put a lot of stuff on credit cards that I couldn't pay off because I knew that if I kept spending it and building my business, I would eventually be able to pay them off. So I was willing to pay the 18% interest while I was building my business. I was more than willing to do that. Does that make sense? Second year, I made 400,000. I spent 400,000. Easy. I didn't start spending money on cars. Our septic system was messing up really bad, and my wife was crying, and she didn't like the poop coming back up in the shower and stuff. She got all mad about that. And we had old windows that would get you ever see them, poor people that have the cloth in the windows so the water comes out and drips in it. They don't rot you. I had that. Because we was poor, it's my daddy's old dad's house, so we got new windows. That was the first two things we got. Got septic system 6. You know what I mean? I didn't spend money. I spent money on building my business. And then people well, when people come to your business, they're gonna think you're poor and they're not gonna get in the business. No, they didn't. Stephen Davies came to my house, came down the basement, saw this piece of junk. He's like, "You getting ready to get rich, ain't you?" I said, "Yeah." You too. And y'all see his house now, but his house then was no go, no bueno. You with me? So I would put it back in to my business like crazy. And Emily getting a secretary is really good. I mean, which is another one. How to invest in education, my personal knowledge. And y'all know y'all got. Hannah, do you have questions from the tax or the credit card thing? That's not part of it. No. Okay. How should I invest myself as far as education, growing my own personal knowledge? Okay, so leads are the easiest thing I've ever seen in my life to turn into profit. Okay, like one time, somebody came to me and he said, "We've got." I can't remember the numbers, but it was just millions and millions and millions and millions of data that we could use to create more leads. And they wanted some crazy number, like 200,000 if we bought them all at one time. And I went to my CFO and I said, look, I think this is brilliant. I think with this 200,000, we're going to make $4 or $5 million over the next 2 or 3 years. And we bought all that data. You with me? So now I think these $9 internet leads are great. Okay. I really, really do. I think if you had one $9 internet lead, how much does this roughly cost? $30?
Yeah, roughly.
$30. This $30 lead, and I'm a lead professional. I am a sales professional. I get paid to sell. If I had this for $30 or that for $9, well, $9 goes into Y'all know your gazindas? How many times does 9 goes into 30? Divided by 9. It's 3.3 times. Okay. I think this is not only 3 times better, I think it's 50 times better than the $9 lead. Now, if I can get this lead, but I want to do some more work, and there's 10 $9 leads, I will buy those $9 leads. But if there was 10 $9 leads and one of these leads, I wouldn't buy the 10 $9 leads and not buy this one, because I think this is 50 times better. Do you understand why? Because, like, if a person goes on the internet and they click, and then they click on something else, and they click on Amazon Prime, they do not remember filling this out as good as if they took this out and licked another piece of paper and put this in the envelope. Okay. You're going to remember licking, because you cut your tongue licking the envelope one time.
Yes, exactly.
And you're going to be careful the next time. You'll be like,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? And they signed it in their handwriting. There's no handwriting on an internet click. You see what I'm saying? Now, you say, are you saying you would buy the internet list? No, they're $9. I'd buy every one I could get. But these, a year later, like if you give me 10 $9 leads and 10 of this, a year from now, I could get a sale out of these, and I could take it, and this person will remember filling it out when I show it to them in their handwriting. But a year from now on internet lead, you're not going to be able to convince them that they did it. They'll never remember. And the only thing you got to show them is the little piece of paper where anybody could have typed that in there. But I probably still could sell some, but not like I could sell these.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
And they're 100% tax deductible.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Are these 100% tax deductible? You 100% sure? 100% sure that they're tax deductible. Okay. So the first thing is leads, by God, leads. I would rather spend $5,000 and make 20 grand. Okay. Spend 5, make 20, net 15. See the math? Than to spend $100 and make 2,000. You go like, but it's a whole lot better ratio. I'm like, you are a freaking mathematical moron.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense, Caitlin. You can't make sense out of nonsense. Okay. You see how getting people on the call would help? Because you can't say all this on the phone with them and be a professional lead salesperson. It's borderline whether I could do this on this call, but I don't care. I'm trying to help. I care. Okay. All right. I would spend if Kristen, okay, girl, Sarah, I would spend everything in my budget, every dime I've got, run up every credit card to get smarter. Okay. The way you do that is books, audios, and attending conventions. We have a national convention coming up in Dallas. So can I tell you something about building a business, Mike? And well, I'm going to tell all three of y'all. Mike, when you call up people and say this, let me know if you need any help. That is one of the dumbest things an upline can say is, text me if you have a problem. Let me know if you got a problem. People don't know what to text. They don't know what to ask. So what you do is, y'all sit here. You've seen this. When I call people up, I go, hey, what's up? Start talking to them, and I just go into one of my rants like this. And staff will be looking at me like, oh, God, here he goes again. I wonder if he knows he's talking to a moron and they're not listening. He's told them this 7 different ways from Sunday. He keeps repeating himself. That's what they're thinking. I know what y'all are thinking. Y'all think I'm looking at you like, he don't know what I'm thinking. I know what you're thinking. And here's what I'm thinking. I wish you were thinking. I wish you'd be thinking the next time I do, I'm going to go on one of these God blessed rants like he does and see if I can get some God blessed results like he does. Because when I get through ranting, oftentimes I get results. You say, well, not every time. I go, I'm not an idiot. I know that. Sometimes you got a dadgum wet willy log and you can't light it. Does that make sense? If you got a wet willy, it just ain't going to get up and going. You know what I'm trying to say? You can play with it all you want to. It ain't going to catch on fire. But if you got somebody that's listening that gets ignited, they're going to do something. Does that make sense? But if you don't never light the fire, ain't nothing going to get lit unless you get them on a call and they start listening to me. Can I get a fax? Yes. Fax. I like that fax thing. Okay. So, like, and I know that not everybody thinks it's funny and some people are going to be offended and quit. But let me explain something to you. If I got 100 people and 2 of them quit, 2 of them start doing it, and you got 100 people and all of them sit there content and happy and don't do nothing, and you don't have nobody quit, what good is that? Does that make sense? I don't want those 2 people to quit. But Lord have mercy, they've quit 9 other things in the last 18 months. So what difference if they quit this? Nobody likes a quitter. Everybody likes persistency, though. Tell me, anybody don't like persistency? God, persistency is a good thing. You tracking with me? All right, you ain't gonna let me down, are you?
No.
I will be talking to you. Okay. The national convention coming up. Put it on credit card, borrow money from your mama. If you have to, buy some leads and sell some insurance. But don't tell me you can't afford to go, because that's not acceptable. Because you should invest in your intelligence by coming to these meetings and hanging around the right people, association. Okay, so I'm going to be next week. I'm flying to somewhere.
Chicago.
No, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yep.
As opposed to Kansas City, Kansas City.
Right.
Kansas City, Missouri. Somebody called it Grandview.
It is. Grandview, Missouri is
How-
the address.
How far?
Tiny little subtown.
It's a subtown of Kansas City, Missouri. So we're going to a subtown of Kansas City Monday. And it's very convenient for you to drive 45 minutes, an hour, or 3 hours. So get your butt over there. But it's going to be inconvenient to go to Dallas, Texas, because it's a longer drive, or you got to pay for a plane ticket, and you got hotel room, and you got food. So it's more inconvenient to go, but you need to go. Does that make sense? So the number one thing I would invest in, and I remember years ago when I was in my 20s, and somebody told me this, and I started spending way more money than I ever spent in my life on books and audios. Like, I remember first looking at Audible, going like, it costs money to listen to something. That's insane. And then there was a guy like me talking. He said, you need to spend that money because you don't need to be dumb for the rest of your life. So I started spending money on listening to stuff. I mean, for a redneck, that is traumatic to pay to listen to something. I mean, you turn on radio and listen to country music for free. Tracking with me? I don't know if you can nowadays, but like educational, I was spent like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it was traumatic for me to spend that money. Not like, oh, I'm a genius, I'm going to spend money on audibles and listen to this. No, I was like, this is the craziest thing I've had. These fools are talking me into spending money to listen to rich people. And I did it. And people go like, you think it'll work on me too? Yeah, without fail. Oh, that's right, I suppose. Unless you're dumb and dirt and it don't take on you, and God didn't put in the stuff that He put in me and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, or you don't apply the knowledge or something like that. You know, but that's my what do you call it? My disclosure, my disclaimer is I didn't know you was dumb when I told you to do it. I thought you was a smart person. So you listen to these audios and you spend money to do it. Does that make sense? I know it sounds crazy. Now, here's the other thing. Like a lot of my friends that have made a lot of money like me, they think that it's not crazy when they tell you to listen, pay money to listen to stuff. They think that you should know that. But I know how weird I thought it was. I thought to myself, that is crazy. Who the hell's buying into this? But then I listened to them guys and I got to thinking about it. I was like, why would they tell me wrong? They make money off of me. And if it screws me up and it don't work, they're not going to make any money. So I started doing it and I started making more money and they made more money. And we was both happy. Mm-hmm. And then I became one of the followers, if you will. I like them follower movies. You know what I'm talking about? They join them things. I'd join one if I wasn't in this thing. But I'm in this one. You know what I mean? All right, so books. Look at all these books. Matter of fact, this one girl we recruited, the first thing I said to her, she said, you seem to be smart. I said, well, I was dumber than dirt. And I started reading these books. And she said, what books have you read? And I laughed. I said, can you FaceTime real quick? So I FaceTime. So I did with Angela. I said, FaceTime Angela. I said, what's up? And I was like, these are the books I read. And she's like, oh my God, you read all them books? I said, I know, right? You wouldn't think I can even hardly read. You know?
Yeah. She's meeting us this week.
Huh? She's meeting us in Kansas City. And I hope she's watching the show, you know? But I was, hey, we're running out of time. Oh, we're already over. Got 4 more minutes until I'm on overtime. Make me a little extra money. Run them OT. All right. So, Mike Marisi, what are you taking away from this? Like, what's the big takeaways for you? Like, is it worth being on here? But what are you going to take and run with this?
Absolutely. Good cop, bad cop. Selling the calls more, getting people on to kind of get the info, not only from you, from the events, but also same time get better at having those conversations too with agents. So it's not just coming from you guys.
Yeah, you don't want to just come from us. It needs to come from you too. You
Yeah.
want to appear semi-intelligent yourself also.
Absolutely.
You don't like we're geniuses and you don't know nothing. Hey, how many leads do you buy? How many leads do you buy a week, Mike?
I usually spend about $500, 500 to 750, right around there. So I'm getting internet leads, $10 a pop. So about 50 to 75 leads a week.
You ain't buying these final expense leads after I got through talking to you. You ain't right in the head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They last forever, dude. Like, you can reuse the snot out of them. Just keep getting juice out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you know where you rank in the company as far as sales? Like, you understand what I'm asking?
Probably. I know, like for issued paid, I think I'm right around 23, right around there. I think issue paid business for the year.
Yeah. Team sales. I think I'm gonna pull it up right here. You think you're 23 in the country?
Yeah, I think on issue paid.
And issue paid.
Mm-hmm.
See, the way he's doing it is because he invests more in leads. Mm-hmm. Other people, they're tight on leads, and they. Olga.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
I'm doing my TWC call. What are you doing?
What I'm doing?
I got you on speaker. I'm doing my TWC. I'm training people right now.
I know that.
Why you call me right at the end of my call? You.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That was funny. I don't care who you are.
He's 22 at 238.
He's 238,000 in sales, number 222 in the country. And he's hiring like crazy. So people say, I'm focused on recruiting. He is too, but he's still got 223,000. So that earns him a lot of money to put in the bank to pay for the baby's clothes and buy stuff for his wife for Christmas. I don't understand why my computer's not coming up like that. All right, I ain't gonna mess with that. Okay, so Sarah, the more leads you buy, the easier it is to sell. Now, a lot of people, Bel Air is like number 2 or 3 in the country right now, maybe 4. He was the best at getting sales with tiny amounts of leads. And he would be like number 25 or number 30 in the country. And he prided himself on how he was tight with leads, but he would work the leads so hard. Well, this year is one of the best years he's ever had. He decided to quit being persnickety or picky or tight on leads, and it's been a whole lot easier, and he's made a lot more money. You with me? Does that make sense, Sarah?
Yep, it makes sense. You got to invest in your business.
So what I heard Mike saying is he's going to have these conversations more and not wait for us. Is that kind of a good summary, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else big you could take away from this? Oh my God. Jerry Burbage said he bought 24 of these final expense leads, talked to 23, and booked 18.
That's right. Oh, God.
Nice.
He's already picked up 13 sales for $7,500 on 24 of these leads.
You ain't getting them missing out.
And Jerry Burbage, y'all can say that he's a slick, blonde-haired, salesy person, but like y'all understand he's a carpenter guy. Like wore a tool belt. I ain't saying he can't sell, but I'm saying don't give me no he's something we got to go he's something special. We got to make sure that the disclaimer he is something special. And if you're not special, it won't work for you.
Correction, Cassie did.
Cassie did this. I don't want to hear nothing out of you now. Cassie did it. Okay? All right, what would you think you take out of today, Sarah, and use? Anything worthwhile?
I like your breakdown with like taxes and all that, just being more thinking like a business owner, just being strategic with how you're spending your money. You know, I like your whole thing with, you know, because when I'm in the dental field, sometimes every now and then I'll go work dentistry and then I'll book an appointment like in the evening, and then go home. So that kind of put a light bulb up in my head. Okay.
Somebody told me you quit doing that now. Is that true?
So December 31st is my last day.
So you're quitting that dental 2 or 3 days a week. You're just going to do this full time.
I'm going to do insurance 3 days a week. So instead of the 1, I'm going to supplement it and do it like 2.5, 3 days.
So you've earned a trip on Ireland in 1 day a week selling.
That is correct.
That is correct. So should I feel sorry for people that tell me they're working full time and they missed the trip by 1,000 points or 10,000 points? Now, I agree that I shouldn't make fun of them. But me and my children and my wife have a terrible habit. I'm going to confess, we make fun of people. Okay, now we don't do it in public typically, but we do. Does anybody else want to make me feel better and tell me you make fun of people also?
All the time.
I got to amen.
Amen.
You make fun of people.
Sometimes
You make fun of people? Do you make fun of people? Do you make fun of people? I'm feeling better about myself as I go around.
Everybody does. Yeah,
Everybody makes fun of people.
You're not human if you don't.
You're not human if you.
You're not human if you don't.
She says you're not human if you don't make fun of people. I think there's a lot of hoity-toity people that would be disappointed in this room that you all admitted that you make fun of people. Now, I'm looking at Sarah thinking, I bet she don't make fun of people because she's just so politically correct. But you got to wonder, when her and Pablo, when her and Pablo got to get behind doors, you know, and when he comes home from that attorney job and he's been dealing with some ding-dong heads that are in court, I bet you that they ain't as hoity-toity as they act.
Sarah knows. She won't tell you. She knows.
I bet you there's some giggling about some people.
I hear
That's
you,
just my
Caitlin. I hear you out there. That's my girl.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the tax deal, I got you. All right. How about you, Miss 21, 22-year-old Emily Katz? Happy birthday. Except for Sarah's.
Oh, Sarah, yeah. I think just the importance of investing in your business and just going all out for me, especially without having any responsibilities right now. Now's the time to just invest, pour it all in.
I got something. This is different. Okay. So what you got? What do you hope your downline gets out of this talk? Like, you know what I'm saying? What do you hope they get? Emily?
Probably same thing. Just invest in your business and put the time in. Don't be scared to work.
How about you, Sarah? Anything different for your downline than you?
I'm pretty much right there with Emily. Just, but expectations is huge for 2023. Just setting the job description up and just having boundaries and expectations.
Boundaries and expectation. She's smart. Where'd you go to school?
The University of New Mexico.
Same as Pablo.
Yep, same as Pablo. Bunch of Lobos in the family.
How about you, Mike? Anything different you want your agents to get out of this than the tax advantages? And she petered on expectations. I know what she means by that. I hope they get off their ass. That's what I'm hoping.
Invest more. Use those tax advantages. Pour back into the business, because you can win both ways when you're spending more on things to use those tax advantages, but also go out, write more business, build it more too, travel, get out there.
Well, I will say this. If I don't like you and you ain't no fun to be around and you're like negative and stuff, I hope you don't get nothing out of this. And I hope you keep doing what you've been doing and you don't go on many trips with us, because I don't want to be around you. Does that make sense? But if you're a nice person who has been failing previously and you're a lot of fun and you would like to travel with us and make fun of others, then I hope you change your losing habits and adopt the winning habits. I hope I got under your skin and made you mad enough that you say something like, I'm going to show him. Mm-hmm. That's what I hope for the people that are fun and would like to travel with us. Because next year, we're going to be on a ship for 10 days with people.
Ooh, yes.
And I don't want to be on a ship for 10 days with people that I don't like. Who would we make fun of if you were with us?
Send a postcard.
Staff, give us some Ireland postcards. So from Ireland, we can send postcards to everybody if we didn't do this. Free, too. We don't want to pay for them. Okay. All right. Hope this was helpful and amusing, and hope it changed one life today. And if it didn't, well, there you go. I get paid anyway. Any last minute things before we leave? Jess, we hit 9,000 on TikTok. 9,000. It's legit. We haven't bought them. I think people that buy all those followers. We're not impressed. We see. You don't have enough interaction to have 38,000 people. You bought them. We know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
True that? Russ?
Yes.
Are you still skydiving?
I am.
When are you going again?
Probably when it gets warm again. A little chilly up there.
Okay.
But today, business tax laws are made for business owners.
This is good right here. This is my cousin talking right here. Cousin talked me into getting an insurance license right here.
Tax laws are made for business owners, so you should take advantage of them. But my disclaimer is see your CPA. Don't take my advice.
Hey, Russ, you had a hell of a year this year, man. This is the most annuities you've ever written.
Yes.
How many have you written? How many annuities have you issued?
I got one waiting to be pending, so that'll put me in right 24 for the year.
24 what? 24 annuities?
24 annuities.
24 annuities. How much?
Had 200,000 in my pocket.
200,000 in your pocket, but how much annuities have you moved?
About $2 million.
$2 million of annuity money.
Okay, get it,
and I have a list of
How much you spend a month or week on leads? How much? Roughly.
$3,700.
$3,700 a month.
Yes, $3,750 actually to be precise.
$3,750. So you divide that by 4, around $1,000 a week.
And I have over $6 million ready to go for next year.
And $6 million already lined up, and that's from the leads you already made.
Correct.
So it layers itself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you already spent the money, but you ain't made all the money you're going to make. And I'm telling you, with these leads, that's the way it's going to work. It's going to layer. All right. Anything else, Debbie, I'm leaving out? Come over here and say Debbie. Come here and say, everybody wants to say hey to Debbie. Y'all say hey to Debbie. Woody, we got to go.
Hey, everybody. Oh, yeah, I'm short enough you can see me. Hey, everybody.
Right here.
Yep.
Well,
AMG.
Best hires out. Don't be advertising for AMG.
Hey, that's my team.
Okay, advertise for you. Sad dog won't wag his own tail.
I'm
telling
you.
You got to learn this stuff. Thank y'all very much. Hope this helpful. I got to go exercise, so I'm going to get older. Bye-bye.